Every new day is a fight for survival. Run or be crushed. Fangs and claws tear through every fragile hope. One creature's death feeds another's life. A merciless cycle that never stops turning. In the far northwest of Namibia lies the Namib Desert, one of the oldest and harshest landscapes on Earth, stretching all the way to the Skeleton Coast. Endless red dunes roll toward the horizon, meeting the cold fog that rolls in from the Atlantic every dawn. As the eastern sky begins to lighten, a low, hunched silhouette moves across the cold sand. The brown hyena has covered nearly 15 miles since sunset, its long black snout sweeping the ground for any trace of life. Unlike the spotted hyena, which lives and hunts in clans, the brown hyena is a solitary wanderer. Its nightly trek can stretch the length of a marathon, all for the chance of an uncertain meal. In the Namib, persistence counts for more than speed. At first light, a strange scent drifts on the wind damp, utterly unlike the cracked, dry sand all around. The brown hyena changes course at once, following the scent to the edge of a shallow pool in the dry riverbed. But it isn't alone there. A herd of oryx has already gathered at the waterhole, their straight horns nearly 3 feet long, glinting in the moonlight. Oryx are among the few antelope that can survive for weeks without drinking, thanks to their ability to let their body temperature climb far higher than most mammals could tolerate, cutting the need to sweat. Still, when water is on offer, they never pass it up. The brown hyena weighs its odds. A wary herd of oryx, armed with weapons on their heads, is not a target it dares approach. It retreats to a withered bush, settles low, and waits. That is the species' entire survival strategy, not the strongest, but the one who can outweight everyone else. Less than half a mile from the waterhole, a pride of lions has lain hidden since before sunset. Longer-legged and leaner than their Serengeti cousins, their build has adapted for covering greater distances on less water. Researcher Flipstander, who has tracked the Namibe's desert lions for 2 decades, has documented something unusual. This is one of the very few lion populations on Earth that hunts oryx as a primary food source. This land holds no wildebeest, no zebra. The oryx is almost the only option there is. An oryx's sword-length horns can bring down a full-grown lion if it turns to face its attacker with a cool head. But the lions never give it that chance. They stay hidden behind sparse thickets, moving low and slow, leaving no trace on the sand. At under 50 feet, the lions explode into a full sprint. The oryx panics and wheels away a fatal mistake. The lion closes the gap. A bite to the throat ends the struggle in seconds. From its bush, the brown hyena watches the entire hunt without moving a muscle. It has learned that moving in too soon means death. Less than an hour later, the pride leaves the oryx carcass, bellies full. They waste no energy guarding what's left in the desert. The calories spent defending a kill can cost more than the kill is worth. This is the moment the brown hyena has waited for since midnight. It moves in and strips nearly everything that remains within minutes. In the Namib, life always finds a way through, even when the price is another creature's death.
Dusk descends upon the forests of Colombia, not the gentle twilight one might imagine, but the knife-edge moment between light and darkness, when the forest changes its guard. Beneath cyber trees rising more than 40 meters high, where the last rays of sunlight survive only as thin slivers piercing through leaves, something is moving. No sound, no footprints, only a black shadow gliding between colossal roots, so fluid it seems as though darkness itself has come alive. It is a jaguar, but not the jaguar found in textbooks. This one is entirely black. A mutation deleting 15 base pairs on the MC1R gene has transformed its spotted golden coat into a flawless curtain of night. Under infrared light, the rosettes remain flickering like ghost patterns on black velvet. Scientists call them ghost rosettes. The naked eye cannot see them, but prey do not need to see them. They only need to feel the fear. Roughly 10% of all jaguars worldwide carry this mutation, and in Colombia's densest forests, Choco, Amazon, that proportion climbs higher still. Where darkness is thickest, melanistic jaguars reign. Welcome to Gaiadox, where we explore the most extraordinary mysteries of the natural world. Colombia's forest is not one world. It is three worlds stacked upon each other. The water layer, the ground layer, the canopy layer, each with its own king, its own laws, and its own way of killing. But only one creature breaks every boundary between them, and it has just vanished into the dark. To understand its true power, first descend to the lowest layer, where murky water conceals a killer weighing nearly 200 kilograms. The wetlands of the Llanos Orientales. The wet season transforms this vast savanna into a shallow inland sea, thousands of square miles reduced to nothing but mud, grass, and terrifying silence. In that turbid water, only two things break the surface: a pair of eyes and two nostrils. The rest, over 6 meters of muscle, spine, and primal instinct, lies entirely submerged. Green anaconda, or more precisely, possibly an entirely new species. In February 2024, scientists announced a groundbreaking discovery. The anacondas of Colombia and northern South America are not Eunectes murinus, as they had been classified for 200 years. They are Eunectes acaima, a distinct species. The DNA divergence between the two species stands at 5.5% greater than the genetic distance between humans and chimpanzees. Dr. Jesus Rivas, who led the research over 18 years, named the new species from the indigenous Carib language. But regardless of its name, its killing technique remains unchanged. Along the anaconda's lips runs a row of tiny pits, labial pits, functioning as biological thermal sensors. They detect temperature differences of just 1/10 of a degree. Any warm-blooded creature approaching the water's surface is detected even in total darkness. A herd of capybara, the largest rodents on Earth, weighing up to 90 kilograms each, approaches the marsh edge to drink. They move in groups of 10 to 20, ears perked, eyes scanning the water's surface. But eyes are useless here. The anaconda lies just beneath the murky surface, less than 2 meters from the bank, motionless as a rotting log. The lead capybara lowers its head to drink. The labial pits on the anaconda's lips register the signal body heat of 37 degrees Celsius, radiating down onto the water. The strike is so fast that no single frame captures it in full. The anaconda launches from the water, coils around the capybara's body in under 1 second, and drags its prey beneath the marsh. And then the most terrifying part begins. The anaconda does not kill by suffocation, that is what textbooks have taught incorrectly for decades. It kills by circulatory arrest. Constriction force reaches approximately 90 psi, enough to compress every blood vessel in the prey's body shut. The heart cannot pump, the brain loses oxygen, and the anaconda knows precisely when its prey has died because it feels the heartbeat through every coil. Each time the prey exhales, the coils tighten further. They never loosen, not until the heartbeat stops completely. Afterward, the anaconda swallows its prey whole, entirely, and disappears from the marsh for months, its digestive system operating at 70% below normal speed, slowly breaking down every gram of protein. The water layer has its own law: lie in wait, sense, constrict, swallow whole, and the anaconda is the one who wrote that law. But it is not the only hunter in the water layer. Before dawn, while mist still clings to the surface of the Amazon River, a cry tears through the stillness, not the cry of prey, but of a predator. Giant otter, Pteronura brasiliensis, up to 1.8 meters long, weighing over 30 kilograms, the largest otter species on the planet, and perhaps the noisiest carnivorous mammal on the Amazon River. They possess 22 distinct vocalizations, more than wolves. From territorial warning screams to rallying calls, to synchronized chorus calls, in which each family carries its own acoustic signature, no two families sound alike. If the anaconda is the solitary assassin of the water layer, the giant otter is the army. A pack of 8 surrounds a school of fish in a shallow bend of the river. Coordinated tactics. 2 block the front, 2 block the rear, 4 charge into the center. The river surface erupts in white foam. Fish scales scatter like glinting sparks, and coordinated calls echo across the riverbanks. Each otter consumes 4 kilograms of fish per day, nearly 10% of its body weight. That means they must hunt without pause from dawn until the sun dips low. But fish are not their greatest challenge. A juvenile caiman, the most common crocodilian in Colombia, ventures into otter territory. The pack's response is swift and brutal. Pack mobbing begins. 2 flank from either side. One seizes the tail, pulling the caiman off balance. Another lunges at the neck. The young caiman thrashes, jaws snapping open and shut in desperation, but it cannot bite anything when attacked from 4 directions at once. Finally, exhausted, the caiman flees the territory. The otter pack does not pursue. They do not need to kill, only to expel. 10 kilometers of river remain theirs. But the giant otter nearly ceased to exist for anyone to tell this story. From the 1950s through the 1970s, their dense fur, the highest fur density of any mammal, made them prime targets for the fur trade. Colombia's population was nearly wiped out entirely. Today, they are listed as endangered by the IUCN CITES Appendix I. And recently, for the first time in decades, giant otter families were confirmed in Tauramena, Casanare, proof that life is returning to rivers that had once fallen silent. The water layer has its own law. The anaconda writes its law through brute force. The giant otter writes its law through tactics. The caiman writes its law through patience. But 30 meters above, an entirely different war is unfolding, where falling from a branch means death. The Amazon canopy in Colombia. 30 meters above the ground, light filters through leaves like stained glass in an ancient cathedral. Here, everything hangs suspended vines, nests, orchids, and both life and death. This is the kingdom of those who never touch the ground, where gravity is a constant enemy, and every mistimed leap could be the last. A troop of spider monkeys moves through the canopy at 35 kilometers per hour. Limbs impossibly long, bodies slender, but their true weapon is the tail. The spider monkey's prehensile tail functions as a fifth hand. Its underside is hairless, covered in tactile pads like human fingerprints, allowing it to grip branches with a precision no other primate can match. In motion, the spider monkey's body becomes a perfect, alternating current machine. The forelimbs grasp a new branch, while the tail still holds the old one always, maintaining at least 2 anchor points, never fully abandoning safety. They leap 9 meters between branches, 9 meters the width of a tennis court. Mid-air, no safety net, no second chance. The tail sweeps sideways like a rudder, adjusting the angle of descent in a fraction of a second. The troop of 30 splits into teams of 4 to 5, fanning out in search of fruit, a fission-fusion society, as flexible as an intelligence network spread across the canopy. When one team locates a tree bearing ripe fruit, they signal the entire troop with a distinctive call. But spider monkeys do not eat only for themselves. Every meal is an act of planting. And this is where the story extends beyond the canopy. Spider monkeys eat fruit. Indigestible seeds fall to the forest floor 30 meters below. Tapir, the largest terrestrial mammal in South America, consume those seeds along with the droppings, then scatter them throughout the forest via their own digestive tract. "122 tree species have been found germinating from tapir dung. The forest regenerates. A chain of cause and effect, stretching from treetop to root the canopy, feeds the forest floor. Destroy one layer, and both collapse." And this morning, that chain of cause and effect has been interrupted. A metallic alarm call rings out, sharp, short, urgent. The spider monkeys freeze on their branches, eyes fixed upward. A large shadow, wings unusually short relative to the body, a perfect adaptation for flying through dense canopy without catching a single leaf. Harpy eagle, Harpia harpigia, the most powerful raptor on Earth. Not powerful in speed or wingspan, but in grip strength. Females weigh up to 9 kilograms, nearly as heavy as an adult spider monkey. A 2-meter wingspan, but deliberately short. These broad wings were not designed for soaring over open plains. They evolved to cut through the labyrinth of branches and leaves at high speed. The most fearsome feature lies in the feet. The rear talon, the hallux of the largest females, measures 13 centimeters long as a North American grizzly bear's claw. But while the grizzly uses its claws to dig, the harpy uses them to puncture the spine of prey in flight. Its grip strength surpasses that of any eagle ever measured. When those toes close, no prey escapes. And its hunting strategy is not the high-altitude stoop of a falcon. The harpy eagle is a sit-and-wait ambush predator, perching on the highest branch, surveying the canopy below for hours on end, motionless as carved stone. That patience is not laziness, it is strategy. A single attack burns enormous energy if it fails. The harpy must wait hours more before another opportunity arises. Every strike must be precise. This is the moment the chase begins. The harpy spots a spider monkey separated from its group, reaching for a cluster of fruit on a distant branch. Isolated, vulnerable. The harpy folds its wings and launches not a dive from above, but a horizontal burst through the canopy, short wings slicing through gaps between branches at 80 kilometers per hour. Every wing beat, calculated to avoid collision, a 3-dimensional map of the canopy already memorized in its brain. The spider monkey reacts in an instant. It leaps 9 meters across open air, tail sweeping sideways, spinning its body 180 degrees mid-air, snatching a branch behind it. It vanishes into the densest part of the canopy where the harpy's wings cannot penetrate. The thick forest becomes a shield. The eagle's talons rake through empty air, centimeters from the monkey's fur. This time, the prey escapes. But the harpy does not rush. It returns to its high perch, settles, and waits. Patience is a weapon that speed cannot defeat. This eagle stands on the edge, vulnerable on the IUCN Red List. Each pair produces only one chick every 2 to 3 years, the slowest reproductive rate of any large eagle species. Nests sit 30 to 40 meters high in saber trees, the towering giants that Colombia's forests are steadily losing. Lose one saber, lose one nest. Lose one nest, lose a generation of eagles. Simple arithmetic, but merciless. The canopy appears to be the exclusive domain of the harpy eagle, the sole arbiter of life and death from above. But that is an illusion. Because sometimes the threat in the canopy does not come from the sky, it comes from below. The jaguar, The creature we watched glide through darkness on the forest floor also climbs trees. It trespasses into the canopy, the domain that the harpy commands from above. No big cat in the Americas climbs as well as the jaguar. The puma is faster on the ground, but in the trees, the jaguar is the master. Curved claws and massive shoulder muscles allow it to haul 80 kilograms of body weight up a nearly vertical trunk. The black jaguar ascends, settles on a large branch, and goes still. The exact same tactic as the harpy eagle, but from the opposite direction. The harpy ambushes from above. The jaguar ambushes from below. The spider monkey is caught between two apex predators, the harpy from above, the jaguar from below. The canopy, once home, becomes a two-layered trap. Remember the opening line. Only one creature breaks every boundary between the layers, and it is here now on a branch, outside its own territory, yet still the most dangerous thing within 100 meters. But the jaguar does not only climb trees. Share with Gaiadox in the comments, what do you think makes the jaguar so extraordinary? It also swims, and beneath the water it hunts what even the anaconda treats with caution caiman, the armored reptile occupying the very territory the anaconda claims as its own. Night falls. Colombia's forest shifts into a different mode, a mode in which human eyes are utterly useless, but jaguar eyes are not. On a trail cutting through the forest, large tracks press deep into the mud, each print as wide as a dinner plate. These are not the tracks of a predator, but of prey. Tapir, Tapirus terrestris, the largest terrestrial mammal in South America, 250 kilograms of muscle and thick hide, moving silently through the night. Its flexible proboscis extended ahead, tearing leaves, selecting fruit, sweeping the path like a biological antenna. Colombia is the only country in the world home to all three American tapir species, and Tapirus terrestris is the most widespread across the Amazon and Orinoquia. Among them is an endemic subspecies, Tapirus terrestris colombianus. But the tapir is not merely prey, it is the forest's gardener. Each day, a single tapir consumes up to 38 kilograms of plant matter. Seeds pass through its lengthy digestive tract and are scattered across the forest via its dung. 122 tree species have been documented germinating this way. Large palm seeds that no other species can disperse, the tapir can. Remember the chain of cause and effect in the canopy. Spider monkeys eat fruit, indigestible seeds fall to the ground, tapirs swallow them and scatter them across the forest through their dung. The forest regenerates. The tapir is the link between the canopy and the forest floor. Without the tapir, Colombia's forests would cease to regenerate. But tonight, the tapir is not gardening. It is trying to survive. The jaguar has been tracking it for 200 meters. In absolute silence, 4 thick padded paws pressing into the earth without producing a single sound. In darkness, the black coat renders it invisible. The tapir stops. Its proboscis lifts, sniffing the air. Its sense of smell, its most powerful defensive weapon, detects the scent of a big cat on the wind. The tapir bolts, 45 kilometers per hour through dense undergrowth, astonishingly fast for a creature weighing over 200 kilograms. 2-centimeter thick hide on the nape protects it from the first bite. Direction of flight, the river. Water has always been the tapir's refuge. The proboscis becomes a snorkel. The tapir can submerge completely while still breathing normally. Beneath the river's surface, no terrestrial predator can follow. At least, that is the rule, until the jaguar appears. Because the jaguar also swims, and it swims better than any big cat on the planet. In 2025, a study documented a jaguar swimming 2.3 kilometers continuously across a river 6 times the previous record. Not an escape swim, not a forced crossing, possibly routine behavior, something science had never suspected. The tapir plunges into the river. Its proboscis breaks the surface. Safe? Not quite. The jaguar follows. Forelimbs cutting through the current, body gliding through the flow with the force that 80 kilograms of muscle generates. But the tapir is faster in water. It disappears into the murky current. The jaguar loses its target, but it does not return to the bank. Because here, on the riverbank, there is something else. A caiman, spectacled caiman, lies basking on the mudflat, motionless, jaws closed, eyes shut. And the jaguar sees it. What happens next is what sets the jaguar apart from every other big cat on Earth. It does not bite the neck, does not bite the belly, does not constrict. It bites through the skull. Estimated bite force, approximately 1500 psi, the strongest of all big cats relative to body size. Enough to pierce a turtle's shell, enough to punch through the skull of a caiman, a reptile with the thickest bone armor of any small crocodilian. One bite, straight into the brain. The caiman never reacts. The jaguar drags its kill from the riverbank and vanishes into the forest, carrying with it the final proof that it belongs to no single layer. It hunts tapir on the ground. It stalks spider monkeys in the trees. It kills caiman in the water. 3 layers, 3 distinct skill sets, 1 creature. In this forest, every layer has a king. The anaconda rules the water. The harpy eagle rules the sky. But the jaguar is not the king of any one layer. It is the one that shatters every layer, and that is why it stands at the top of the food chain. But the creature that breaks every boundary is steadily losing its places to hide. Colombia holds approximately 16,000 jaguars, the 3rd largest population in Latin America, after Brazil and Peru. That sounds like many, but the number conceals a harsh truth. Across the Americas, 33 of the 34 jaguar populations are classified as endangered or critically endangered. Only the Amazon population, where the forest remains vast enough to hide a phantom, is listed as least concern. And when the forest is felled, the domino effect begins. Lose 30 meters of canopy, and the harpy eagle loses its nest. Every saber tree that falls is a generation of eagles, erased a species that produces only one chick every 2 to 3 years. No tall trees, no nests, no harpy eagles. An equation that cannot be reversed. When the canopy disappears, spider monkeys lose their home and their food. Without spider monkeys eating fruit, no seeds fall to the ground. Without seeds, tapir cannot scatter them through their dung. And when tapir stop dispersing seeds, 122 tree species lose their ability to regenerate naturally. The forest stops regenerating, its area shrinks, and the jaguar loses hunting territory. Capybara lose their wetlands, and the anaconda loses its primary prey. Giant otters lose clean rivers. A species that has only just recovered from the brink of extinction is pushed right back toward the edge. Destroying one layer does not destroy just one layer, it destroys them all. The food chain is not a straight line, it is a web. Cut one thread and the entire net trembles. Giant otter, endangered. Only recently returned to Casanare after decades of being wiped out by the fur trade. Harpy eagle, vulnerable. Tapir, vulnerable. Jaguar, near, threatened globally. Vulnerable in Colombia. Every name on the IUCN Red List is not merely a species in danger. It is a link in a chain, and when a link breaks, the entire chain collapses. Colombia's forest is not one world. It is 3 worlds stacked upon each other, each with its own king, its own law. The anaconda writes its law through brute force in the water layer. The harpy eagle writes its law through patience in the sky. The giant otter writes its law through tactics on the river's surface. But only the jaguar, a black phantom forged by nature through a mutation deleting 15 base pairs on the MC1R gene, tears through every boundary. It swims through the anaconda's water. It climbs into the harpy's canopy. It hunts on the ground where the tapir sows seeds for the forest's future. Protecting one layer alone is not enough. All 3 must be preserved, because if one layer collapses, all of them follow. And that darkness, the darkness we watched glide between saber roots at dusk, is still moving. Between the roots, beneath the water, among the high branches. The question is, does Colombia's forest still hold enough darkness for it to hide?